Hi guys, welcome back. So, as you probably guessed from the video, I'm going to attempt to build a sub-8 BTG car for £10,000 or under. Now, as predictably as you may have thought, should have just bought a Megane, yes, but I bought this. It's a BMW because I like old neglected BMWs. So the plan is to make it as light as possible and as fast as possible, and to do everything that will make it go sub 8 within 10k budget. So my plan is to document everything that I do and try and get everybody's input. So if you're watching this and you have some tips and some hints about how to make it faster, how to make it lighter, please do let me know. But this is what we're starting with. The car in the state that it arrived, thanks to Chaz for collecting it with me a few weeks ago. And I can't really wait too long before making a start on it. As you can see, there are already parts waiting to go on. But anyway, 330i, N52, Coupe, Manual, and apparently this one is 268 brake horsepower version. 141 or 144,000 on the clock. Plastic rocker cover, so one of the later N52s. So I'll probably replace that with an aluminium one. We shall see, but kind of unmodified. It's got the AliExpress special grills, which I think look horrible. Speaking of which, there we go. That's a bit better. But yeah, I'll get some chrome ones for it. Original MV4 wheels, which are absolutely no use to me or anyone I know, so they'll be going up for sale. So I thought I'll record this video so you can actually see what the car is like in the condition that I purchased it in. It's a Scottish car, so it's probably got some rust underneath. But I guess we'll find out once we're under it. M Performance spoiler. 330i manual. Badman tints. You know. Proper Badman spec. Non-genuine, of course, as you can see by that. So they'll be coming off. I'd like to put some plastic windows into it, but we'll see. That's in due time. The interior, so when I ran the VIN, it actually said that the car came with red interior. But it's got black, so I'm assuming somebody didn't like the red, or somebody liked the red too much and then they bought it or took it out and then they've installed black interior. But it's still heated, still electric, still super heavy, fairly tidy. Chaz has just pulled the door handle off because we were going to take the door cards off, but anyway, that's not the point. We're already storing some stuff at the back here. Black roof lining, nothing overly exciting, a little bit of grime on there. These wheels are probably short, but I think they've got cracks in them, but we'll find out very shortly. But on the surface of it, it actually looks a-okay. It doesn't look too bad. The light's a little bit faded, but an E92, N52, 330i manual is not something that comes about often, I don't think. So when I saw it come up, I was like, yep, gotta have it. Didn't know what I was going to do with it at the time, but now I've got a few plans. So yeah, let's see how we go. Runs okay, but I'm obviously going to service it, going to do wheels, brakes, suspension, and blah, 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 blah. So now that you've seen it in its original condition, let's move on to making it not so original. So naturally, before stripping the car, I thought it'd be a really good idea to find out what it actually weighs as it is when I got it. So I've come to see Matt at Spires, and he's going to weigh it for me on fairly accurate measuring devices, just so we can establish the baseline before I get my hands on it and start taking the weight out of it. What's the verdict? Well, that's actually a lot lighter than I thought. I mean, it probably helps there's no fuel in it, but okay. Thank you. Righty then. So that's a 0?
It's set to 0.
How do you operate this thing?
Twisting up at the top, and 750 is a 0.
750 is a 0?
Yeah, because 750 is what it maxes out at, and there's also the 0.
Oh, right. Okay. Let's have a look. So this is what? This is 255. This is the front. Holy moly. What's that?
That is 23.5 kilos.
Fantastic. And the front. Let's have a look. Oh, that's the front.
Yep.
This is the back.
Heavier. Gone for the crutch shop there, 24 kilos.
Nice.
So slightly less than the...
So that's nearly 100 kilos of unsprung mass.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks, sir.
My pleasure.
Right, let's bolt them on. So, surprisingly, the car is actually quite light to start with. 1467 with hardly any fuel in it, just about 1 bar. But other than that, it's completely standard. Run flat tyres, full fat interior, electric seats, aircon, literally everything is in as more or less it left the factory, minus some cheapy bits and pieces. The colour is graphite grey and it actually looks purple in this light, doesn't it? Anyway, so I had it weighed earlier today at Spires. Thanks, Matt, for sorting that out. And I also weighed these wheels because when I was swapping them, I actually noticed how heavy they were. And I think the front is 23.5 and the rear is 24 kilos with tyres. So they're going tomorrow. So I'm literally just about to whip them off and put a spare set of wheels on it just for the time being. But let me take you through what I'm planning to do with it. So what I've done to it so far, as you saw at the beginning of the video, I ripped off the F-style double slat front grills, and I had a pair of these lying around, so I've put them on, and I think it looks better already. I think I'd prefer chrome, but believe it or not, they're actually quite difficult to find. Let's have a look into the engine bay. So I'll probably do some bonnet vents, and I'll do quick release bonnet latches, so get rid of all this contraption here and the bonnet cable and all that. I thought it had a leaking rocker cover, but it just looks like somebody ham-fistedly spilt some oil when they were filling it, and it was just a little bit of oil spilling onto the exhaust manifolds. And the rest of it, surprisingly, looks fairly dry. So that's good. As far as the engine modifications are concerned, I'm thinking N54 manifold with a BDS performance elbow. And a good tune to make sure that the car's got torque and power increase from 4,000 RPM onwards. K&N air filter, which is already in. And N54, N55 oil cooler kit. So just replace the front and run full OEM oil cooler kit into there. So it'll be sitting in the wheel arch, complete wheel arch liner. Take that blanking plate off and install the duct, which is already here. So keep it nice and cheap as possible, because we've got a budget to stick to. But this is the correct duct for it. Why does that say SC? It should say M Sport. Oh, I've got to check if that fits. Anyhow, that's the oil cooler duct, so it should be all OEM. Some headers, gravity, which are meant to be compatible with right-hand drive cars, and really make it as light as possible. So I'm hoping, because it's 268 horsepower model to start with, I'm hoping I could get it to about 290. Anywhere near 300 would be really good, as long as it's a nice consistent torque and power increase throughout the rev range from sort of 4,000 onwards, which is where the car is going to live mainly. Now, as far as the engine modifications are concerned, that's about it. I think that's as far as I'm willing to go. leaving everything standard. This is one of the last cars with hydraulic power steering, so that's staying there. Going to need to figure out a little catch can solution for it to stop it from spilling. Now, moving on to wheels, tyres and brakes, I was actually going to use these wheels, the M2 CS Racing 10J square, 10.5J square actually, with 265 35 18 tyres with big brakes, but I wouldn't make the budget, so these wheels are a no-no. So I need to keep it as cheap as possible, and the only answer to cheap and cheerful and strong and clearance and accessible and available and replaceable is, for those who've been watching my channel, is this. It's 157. Forged wheels from factory, came on SE E92 cars with a big brake clearance, so anything up to 348mm will clear. So these are 8J, they're forged from factory, which is fantastic, nice and strong, and I just picked the set up for £80, 80. Now, they're not pretty, but they will work just fine. So I think to keep things simple, I will only include the cost of modifications, not including the cost of cosmetic upgrades. So I will have those wheels powder coated, but I'm not going to include the cost of powder coating in the value of the car, similarly to how I'll do other few bits and pieces to make it look pretty, which aren't going to be functional. So if they're not functional, I'm not going to include them in the price. So if you're still with me, it's 10k on performance modifications, including the car itself. Now, tyres wise, because those wheels are 8Js, we can run 245 square setup. So I've actually picked up a used set of Nankang AR1s in 245 40 17, which is the plan. So these wheels hopefully will get picked up tomorrow, and I'll get the 157s refurbished, have the Nankangs put on, and the wheels can go on. Brakes, I will do the standard F-Series setup. So 345 rear, two piston, and 340 front, 4-piston, with decent pads, probably RPX or RSL29 or Endless or Carbotax or something like this. We'll see. F-Series brakes, braided lines, blah, blah, blah. Now, suspension-wise, it's where I need a little bit of advice. I'm going to run M3 arms for sure, because I have a spare set. And I will be running the White Line competition spec bushes in the arms. I would like to run ball joints like I'm running on the M3, but the issues that I've had with that, with the ball joints sort of being a little bit loose and stuff, I've decided to go with polys and to see how I get on with that, just for comparison. So front arms are going to be that. Now, suspension is something that I'm going to need your advice on. I'm thinking either BC coilovers with custom spring rates or ST coilovers with also custom spring rates. Now, as far as the back end is concerned, I'm going to rebuild the rear axle completely. Because it's a Scottish car, it's actually crusty. It's really crusty. When I had the wheels off, so there's a little bit of rust here, but the subframe itself, it's so bad. It's so bad to the point where they've undersealed over the rust. So the entire subframe, the entire rear axle can go in the bin. Now, I have also purchased a set of M3 lower spring arms, just because they're aluminium and they have a better attachment point for the shock absorber, and it gets rid of the whole lower mount for the shock contraption, which I think is a terrible idea, and there's too much flex in it anyway. So that's happening, but as for the rest of it, it's going to stay non-M, the rear axle. So my plan is to run a medium case diff. So I have already ordered 3.73 differential, which I think I only paid £150 for. So that's the ratio that I'm going to use, 3.73, and I'm going to have it built up into an LSD unit, which is going to be a plated diff, probably a CAS or something along those lines, or a wave track potentially. So we'll see. Rebuild the rear axle completely. I've also ordered rear subframe bushes, also White Line, so the main ones that hold the subframe, and I'm going to attempt to install uni-balls or ball joints into the rest of the joints, just to make it nice and rigid on the back end. Now, as far as the weight is concerned, I we'll try and document and compare everything. So the wheels, when they come off, as we already know, the weight of the wheels, we'll compare them to the new wheels that are going on. With the brakes, I'll try and do the same, and then everything else would just be minus, minus, minus. As far as the interior is concerned, I've got a pair of lightweight door cards here, which my friend Paris picked up from me. Came up cheap, so I think that'd be quite nice. Ideally, I'd like to run fiberglass or carbon fiber doors with plastic windows, because these are quite heavy. But I don't think I'll be able to do that at this point and stay within the budget, so perhaps later. The seats are going, so a pair of bucket seats, and literally everything else is going. Now, the only thing I'm undecided about is whether to keep AC or not. So I think, because I will use the car mostly in the summer, and I will essentially be quite hot in it, so I think keeping AC is a good idea for the time being. I'm not sure how others cope without AC. I've seen some people completely get rid of the whole heater matrix and get rid of the warm air and cold air and the lot, but I'm not sure whether I want to do that just yet. But other than that, everything's going. So the sound deadening, the carpets, the center console, the seats, getting 2 bucket seats, all the safety systems, absolutely everything. I would also like to do plastic rear windows, but again, budget dependent. We'll see how we get on. But it's, the LSD's done, the suspension's on, the brakes are done, and the engine's looked after, but we'll see. So this is the plan so far. Again, like I said, if you have any thoughts, any feedback, any input on what I should do, what direction I should take, what other potential modifications I can do to the engine, what spring rates to go for, do let me know. So I think my aim is to make around about 300 horsepower with around about 1250 kilograms of weight without fuel and driver, which I think is possible. So let's see how we get on. I'm going to be building this over the next year or so. I don't want to rush it. I want to do it right and try and do a few bits and pieces to maintain it in the meantime. So slowly but surely. And I'll be doing a few little modifications to it in the meantime, which aren't performance related. So number one, which I've already done, was I've replaced the boot badge, which already looks better because that's what it was before. And I also replaced the passenger side rear view mirror because it's a copy Chinese one with the wrong zoom in the mirror, and it was horrible and it was falling off anyway. But luckily there was a spare one in the boot which fits just fine, and it does have a little bit of discoloration here, but that's okay. I can live with that because that's original and it works well. Now, the other thing I did was I purchased this genuine M Performance rear diffuser, which is from an LCI car, so the grey is slightly different, so we'll paint it, but I think it looks nice, it fits well, just adds that little something to the car, but I'm not going to include that in the price, in the overall cost of building this car. I would also like to do a set of LCI tail lights because I think that will look cool, because these are old and crusty, old and busted. I'll definitely get rid of the tints, and then steering wheel, airbags, that's all going. And I would like to know your thoughts on the undertrays, because at the moment the car doesn't have an undertray, and I'm wondering whether the weight benefit of not having an undertray is better than having an undertray and having a flat floor, essentially a sealed floor. So this car has an undertray, which I was planning to use as a donor, but I don't know, so let me know. Drop it in the comments. The other thing I'm not sure whether I mentioned or not, a late Sport 330i actually came with a oil temperature gauge, which is unusual, I think. I retrofitted it in my last 330, which I thought was great, where with this one it came as standard. So there you go. That's mostly it, I guess. For the start, wheels are coming off, wheels are going on, headers, just general maintenance. I'll document everything as I go along. So if you're interested in this sort of stuff, you know what to do and where to find me. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this kind of content, and I really do want to hear what you've got to say, and what you think, whether this is a crazy idea, whether it's going to work, and what else can be done, what I may have missed. So do let me know, guys, and thanks for watching. See you again in the next one.